Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a fun one, the Triumph Street Triple RS. I have ridden it a few years ago actually, but I think maybe this is like the middleweight naked motorcycle, but for the gentleman. I think it's slightly more refined, it's got that Triumph build quality, it's got the smooth, sweet Triumph triple in it. I've just jumped off of the MT-07 Yamaha, so this is going to be interesting. A little bit more power, a little bit more CC. Let's see what she's all about. That sounds surprisingly nice. This is a fair bit more expensive machine and more CC, so it's 765cc triple engine. It's got 121 brake horsepower and 79 Newton meters of torque. Actually, that's a fair bit more power than the MT-07. Whilst we're here, huge thank you to Blade Motorcycles, just here on my right, for lending me this bike. They've just got an endless option of bikes to test ride there, so I'm in absolute heaven. And they're so kind and good at, well, just hospitable at lending me the bikes and just having a nice chat. So yeah, pop in if you fancy a nice chat and looking at some sweet bikes. Cheers, Blade. So retailing the Street Triple RS at $10,995. It's sort of in the middle ground price-wise in the middleweight naked motorcycle range. So you've got I'd say its competition is probably the MT-09, Yamaha MT-09, which is around just over £9,000, and then slightly more expensive at just over £11,000 is the KTM 890 Duke R. Oh god, I mean, you cannot beat a triple, can you? That's so nice and smooth. To be transparent, I have ridden this bike probably, well, literally when the new model was updated, so a few years ago now, and that was really brief. But immediately, the suspensions are definitely stiffer than on the MT-07 Yamaha, but that's to be expected. This is slightly more focused. But immediately was that engine actually, just starting it up, it's much more beefy than I was expecting. There are some small vibes coming through the handlebars, hardly any through the pegs, small through the handlebars, but not intrusive, not bad at all. In town, really light clutch feeling here. I love the dash. The TFT there, it can look a little bit complicated at times. Once you get used to it, they're really intuitive, the Triumph dash, so that's good. What do you think about the paint scheme and the looks? I think it's a bit of a Marmite bike look-wise, with the lights on the front. It looks like a bit of a Transformer Wasp. Oh, sounds good. I personally really like it, really like that look. I do honestly find that quite appealing, but I could understand why you don't like it. He likes it. I like the paintwork, the black with the yellow stripes on it. Fantastic. It looks really cool, really sort of naughty and electric. Makes it look really fast. So let's get out of town and ride this thing properly. But in town, I mean, I'm 5'9", completely flat footing, no problem at all. It's just so smooth, that engine, and tractable. Just plodding along through town here, no problems at all. They really are the best of both worlds, these triples. It's got a lot of pull low down there when I just tried to get in front of that car. Look at that pedal bike now, that is flash, mate. Enjoy. So let's get on some quicker roads, and I shall catch up with you and let you know what it's like when we give it a bit of a spank. So just whilst we're here at the lights, waiting to come around off this lovely corner onto this slipway onto the dual carriageway. There's three models of the Street Triple. Got the standard, the R and the RS. So we're on the RS today, top model in the range. You've actually got 5 different riding modes, which are really easy to change. I'm getting used to this Triumph TFT toggles. Nelly. And you get a quick shifter as standard on the RS, which is really, really nice. Very, very smooth quick shifter. Can't really fault it. So at higher speeds here, dual carriageway going 68 miles an hour, 6 gear. Obviously we're getting a fair bit of wind because it's a naked bike. Yeah, it's really smooth and there's a lot of power there to go still. No cruise control on this model. If you step it up to the speed triple RS or double R, you do get cruise control, but not on the street triple. Very planted at dual carriageway speeds. On the MT-07 on dual carriageway, if you get a bit of wind, you do get a little bit of tail wagging on the front. Head wagging, you know, it gets a little bit lively, but this feels really well planted, quality feel. Yeah, it's fast for a middleweight naked motorcycle. It's a screamer. Oh, it's scaring me a bit. That triple engine is a peach. It's an absolute screamer. You just ring it out and really sweet. A bonus of that triple, and it could be a downside as well, but I would say a bonus is you don't get that big wedge of torque that you do from a twin. It's more of a linear power curve, so it's easier in some instances to ride quicker and smoother, whereas a twin you have a more instantaneous torque. However, a downside, it's not quite as playful as a twin, I would say. I mean, it's very quick, immediate throttle. Look, if I go down to second gear, it's immediate pickup, and it's just a linear curve that builds and builds and builds and builds, but you don't have that low down torque as you do on a twin that you can just play with on and off. You really have to commit, I find, to these triples. It's very sweet though, it's very smooth, it's got that wah wah wah. Very fun to ride fast and got a load of pace. I would say this is slightly on the limits. Any quicker than this on the road, I personally think is just like too much. I think this is very nice power for the road. Whether I've made my mind up if I prefer this triple to a twin, I don't know actually. I was expecting to really absolutely fall in love with this triple, but I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet. I mean, it's great, don't get me wrong, but whether I'd have it over a twin, don't know. So I'll just pull over here. We'll go over the riding modes because there's a nice road up here. Hope these people don't mind. Put the hazard lights on. Good practice when stopping at the side of the road. If you go to mode, you've got your sort of fighter jet toggle down here. Road, sport, and then track. But you have to stop to put it in track. You can't put track mode on whilst you're riding like you can the other modes. Then you have rider mode, which is configurable. You can change ABS and traction control, all adjustable to how you would like rider mode, so that's good. And then obviously you have rain, road and sport. So let's put it in sport and see what she's like. So guys, weighing 166 kilograms dry, I reckon more around like 190. Wet. It's a light bike. Oh, it's really smooth. I just want to just get to know her. Suspension feels nice, so it's not as nimble or as quick to turn in as the MTs, the Yamahas, I would say, but it's more composed. This, it feels more grown up. Settle into the corners, watch out for the garbage truck. Oh yes, very nice. Yeah, it's much more of a grown-up proposition, I think, to a twin. It's much more gentlemanly. I think it's a gentleman middleweight naked motorcycle, this. So a benefit of the triple engine compared to a twin, I think, is you can just get the quick shifter so much nicer. And the quick shifter on this, especially the downshift with the blipper, is really nice. It's gorgeous. Upshifts are incredibly smooth, even from first to second gear. Straight in, no problem at all. And then when you're coming down, oh, it just slots in seamlessly. It's very nice quick shifter. Coming into a 30, bring it down, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, just easily, no problems at all. The quick shifter's really nice. So, handling, how does she handle? Well, up front you've got 41mm upside down forks, Showa suspension, and on the rear you've got a nice Öhlins unit. The handling is nice, obviously. I mean, it's a really good handling motorcycle. As I said earlier, it's not as nimble or as quick to turn in and perhaps lively as the MTs, MT-07 and MT-09 Yamahas. However, this has its own charm. It feels slightly more grown up again in the handling departments. Takes a little bit more to lean in. It's not as quick to turn in, but it's very nice. Once you're turned in, it feels smoother, more grown up, less like a Jack Russell, so to speak, if we're putting it in animal terms, and more of a golden retriever, if that makes sense. In the handling, it turns in really nicely and just settles in, and you can really lean on it. I think what I'm trying to say is it feels more planted, not as manic. It's more of a smooth turn in. Is a good description. It's different to lively handling, but whether I prefer it or not, I'm not sure. I think I would say I probably do prefer it. It just feels like more of a whole, all-rounded, grown-up package, whereas on the MTs, the Yamahas, or the KTMs, I end up being a bit naughty, you know. I end up sort of having to rein myself in and think, hang on a minute, calm it down a bit, because the handling's just wild. But on this, I feel a little bit more reserved, a little bit more sensible, and I can just appreciate the smoothness and quality of the whole package. And it is a screamer as well. Just another point on the handling, actually, on the Street Triple, because it's less lively and as sort of manic as those other middleweight naked bikes. I think it's filling me with more confidence once I'm actually leant into the corner. I feel more confident to push the boundaries a bit further and actually lean it even more. Whether that's because of the quality of the suspension, that definitely helps, but it's just the overall chassis, I believe. It does fill you with a bit more confidence to just calm it down a bit, but once you're there, you can test the boundaries more without feeling so on edge, if that makes sense. So guys, excuse me with the glasses on, but another heat wave rolled in the UK, so it's stonking hot and very bright. But I thought we'd just go over, before we get back on the road, and go over what the engine is like to ride on road and the characteristics of the engine. We'll just go do a little bit of a walk around. Yeah, overall, looks wise, as I say, I personally really like the look of these, always have. I could definitely understand why you wouldn't like the look of them. They're definitely a different style, but yeah, I love the lights up the front, all of the sort of angular features on the bike. I think it looks very sort of like Transformer, like Bumblebee off the Transformers. Yeah, I think they're really unique looking bike. Bits I like, obviously the headlights. The bar end mirrors come as standard, which is really nice. They're really nice bar end mirrors. You don't have these horrible stalky things poking out, which I'm not hugely against, but when you get a nice set of bar end mirrors, they work really well, and they're very nice on this indeed. There's lots of nice touches on this bike. The build quality, as per usual from Triumph, is top notch. I'd actually say it's probably on par with a KTM, which KTM aren't known for their build quality, but the sort of, you know, the touch points, the switch gear and everything. If you ride a modern KTM, it is quality switch gear, and I'd say it's sort of on par with the Triumph here. Come around to the back here, just another little touches. You've got some nice sort of air vent grooves at the back here. Really nice feature. Yeah, it's a quality motorcycle, and along with that engine, the Triumph Triple, it really feels like a grown-up motorbike, much more sensible than your MT range or your KTM 890 Dukes. It's not to say this is a really sensible machine. It's rabid, it's very fast, and when you rev it out, it becomes a bit manic. It was scaring me a bit earlier, but it takes time to get used to. So brakes, guys, on the front you've got two 310mm discs with Brembo M50 4-piston calipers. So quality brakes. Very nice feel to them, not too sharp, not too soft, just a solid pair of brakes. So on the rear brakes, you've got a single 220mm disc with a single piston, again Brembo caliper on the rear. Seat height on the Street Triple is 825mm. I'm 5'9" with a 32-inch inseam, give or take, and yeah, I can comfortably flat foot it, so very easy standard seat height for this sort of middleweight naked sports bike, and very easy to manhandle and maneuver around and get your feet on the ground. You shouldn't be dropping this motorcycle, really. Weighing in at 166 kilograms dry and probably roughly around 190 kilograms wet. It's not a heavy motorbike, and yeah, it feels great on the road. Stopping's great, the suspension's damped nicely, handling's good, and like I say, the engine is plenty powerful enough to pull the weight of 190 kilograms on the road. Right, back on the road. What's the triple motor like? The 765cc, 121 brake horsepower, 79 newton meters of torque. Well, it is a peach. Triumph, as we all know what they're doing with triples, and this is no exception. It's got loads of go. It is a quick bike, this. It's a smooth linear motor, but it does have plenty of character. It screams at the top end. Another good thing about this engine, when you're handling, if you're through the corners, because there's no big goblets of torque that can surprise you, it's very linear. So it's actually quite easy to keep it smooth through a corner, which is what you want, to stay under control of the bike and keep everything smooth and linear to execute a nice corner. And this engine is great for it, but then when you want the torque, because it's a triple, there is torque there to pull you out the other end. It's really good. I suppose my only gripe about this triple motor is it as fun as a twin, as a parallel twin or a V-twin? It doesn't feel as playful to me. A good way to describe it, which is very much my sort of overall thing about this bike, is it takes much more time to get to know it and to appreciate it than it does with, for example, the KTM with a V-twin or even a parallel twin. On those, you jump straight on, you're like, oh yeah, there's the torque, this is fun, nice vibes, bags of character, easy, done, love it. This, I've got to be honest, it took me a while to warm up to this engine, but once you're used to it, it's very nice. Whether I would have it over a twin, I don't know. I think I'd probably end up would having it over a twin. Yeah, that makes sense. In overall conclusion, this is a fantastic motorbike. High build quality, very well put together. Everything's really nice. Quick shifter handling. Love the wing mirrors. The engine's super sweet. The overall vibes are, it's more of a sensible, grown-up riding proposition to me. Is it as fun as the KTMs or something with a twin, or even the triple, the MT-09 from Yamaha? Is it as fun? That's my only thing, I'm not sure. However, this is a grown-up, pure, silky smooth, quality riding experience. I suppose overall, it's more of the gentleman's naked bike. You don't feel like too much of a hooligan. I feel like I'm on quite an expensive, quality, premium piece of kit. That's my overall conclusion of the Street Twin RS. Would I have one? 100% I would have one of these, but I'm not sure if it's as fun as the twins. Let's leave it there. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. If you like the vid, guys, please don't forget to subscribe. It really helps out the channel, massively appreciated. And yeah, lots more reviews and motorbiking fun to come. So stay happy, shout out to mental health awareness. See you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Ciao Bella. Sorry guys, not quite over. One last thing. Always like to get everything in the reviews. Yeah, it sounds naughty, this bike. It sounds fantastic. Fantastic triple wind to it. One of the better sounding motorbikes, this for sure.